Welcome to Soul Coach Speaks, the podcast, Season 9, Episode 1. Welcome to Soul Coach Speak, Episode 1 of Season 9. I'm back, y'all. I know it's been a while that I have not been doing podcasting. I've actually been working on my apothecary and creating products. So that's coming up very soon. But I wanted to take this time to talk about what should we be doing right now in the collective as we move forward with all the things that we have going on, right? And I went semi-viral on TikTok a few months ago. And during that time, I realized that I have to be front and center, and front and center meaning in the camera. And I've been hiding behind the camera, but I can't anymore, and neither can you. This is not about me. This is about us. This is about the people that are newly awakened. These are the people that are the OGs. This is for everyone. What should we be doing right now? I'm in America. My podcast is worldwide, and a majority of my podcast, of course, is in the USA, but then it's India and in the Middle East. Isn't that wild? And then from there, it's like UK and then Australia. I mean, everywhere, and I'm so grateful for that. Because my voice, I'm just a small town girl by way of New Orleans, right? I'm just so blown away. The feedback that I've gotten, the podcast is 5 stars. Uh, I'm just, I'm just so blessed. So anyway, I'm happy to be back. So let's get into it. I had to write notes because there's so much going on. But if you're new here, let me tell you a little bit about myself really fast. I've been awakened since 2007. I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease and I almost died. And during that time, I had an awakening. And then I met my first spiritual teacher, Miss Pat. I've mentioned her many times on this podcast. She was dying, quote unquote, of lupus, but she healed herself. She was going to the mountains. She was talking to shamans, and then we met, and then she just catapulted me into what I am now. She taught me about my Kundalini awakening. She taught me about pretty much everything spiritual and got me out of the religion mindset, right? I was born and raised in a small town in Mississippi called Goshen. My father side of the family is indigenous, and my mom's side of the family roots are Creole. So she's from Louisiana, my dad's from Mississippi. I have both of them on both sides. It's my light and my dark, my left hand and my right hand. Growing up, I always saw things. I've had the gift since I was little, the gift of sight. But I ran away with it from it because of the religious mind frame psychosis is what they're calling it now. And when I got away from that at 18, I went off to college and then I moved to Louisiana, and then that's when my gifts really started opening. So back in 2007, I became awakened, and then I've been on this journey ever since. So I am an OG, and I've bumped my head a million times, and I'm going to bump my head again. There's things that I talked about on this podcast that um, I didn't know at the time, but now I've grown. As you're on your spiritual journey, you tend to grow into your journey. You might think that your views change, and that's one thing about spirituality is that it leaves you open to view from different points of view, right? When you in religious psychosis, it is about that way or no way. But when you are spiritual, you really are growing into what you know at that time. Well, all of that being said, in 2014, I became a Reiki practitioner, certified life and business coach, and hypnotherapist. I started a podcast, I started a blog, I did all of that, and then I just went on this journey. And that's what this podcast is about. And if you are new here, definitely look back at my old podcast and look to see which ones connect to you and listen to them and write notes. Because a lot of things I see like on social media and TikTok, I talked about years ago. And and I wanted to have a space where newly awakened people can come and have a point of view, because 10 years ago, we don't have what we have now. We don't have different people with different points of views. I was seen as crazy when I talked about aliens and extraterrestrials, because it came to me during a meditation. I didn't have anybody to share that with, so I talked about it on a podcast. So this podcast is for the newly awakened and the weirdos and conspiracy theorists and all the above, right? So let's get started on what in the hell are we supposed to be doing right now? I wrote down bullet points and I want to get to that. But we're living in some crazy wild times, right? The times that we're living in right now, we, the ones that have been already been awakened, have lived through this before. And a lot of us are really old souls. We came to reincarnate during this time to help guide the collective the way that we are right now. So if you're listening to this and this is resonating with you, then your spirit is telling you that you need to remember who you are. And remembering who you are is who you previously used to be during this time, because we're needed more so than ever. The great awakening that's happening, you can see it in real time. You can see within your family and friends group that things are just not right, and they're starting to pay attention. The ones that are open to it, right? Um, so this is your time, because I'm talking to you, to really understand your gifts, your particular gifts, and how your particular gifts are needed during this time. So that being said, you need to be cleansing your home. Spring equinox starts the new year. Don't get me started on that. We're going to talk about that later on this season. But you should be cleaning. A lot of people talk about spring cleaning. It is, because it starts of the new year. Hello, hello. The springs are out, the sun's out. Flowers bloom, things hibernate in the winter, things bloom in the spring. That's why you should be cleaning your house and cleansing your house. I even wipe down the walls. I have spiritual products that we'll talk about later, but floor cleansing, wall cleansing, saging, paleo, whatever you do to cleanse your home. You can, if you don't have anything, do ammonia and water, okay, and pray over it, and have your windows open, and have your front door open. You do these things because you need to cleanse the energy of your house to bring in new, to bring in abundance, to bring in wealth, abundance, whatever it is that you want to. But if you're still sitting in the same stagnant energy from the winter, you're not going to manifest as fast. So the first things we should be doing is cleaning and cleansing our home. Hopefully this makes sense, okay? I'm going to try not to go too fast. Number two, putting a protection around your home. And let me tell you where I get that from. I saw a video, and I don't know if it was like AI or whatever, but my spirit told me that it was real. And when I looked at the video, it was a black cloud, but it was moving. And people in the comments were like making it scientific, like, oh, this is this kind of cloud and that kind of cloud or whatever. But what I saw was a principality. What I saw was a dark principality that was shown. And when I looked at it, I was like, we need to be covering our homes. And we should be doing that anyway. So growing up, my grandmother being indigenous, she had a straw broom at the front door all the time. And I never understood why. But of course, it's for protection. So, my son and I went and gathered railroad spikes and you put them in each corner of your yard. I'm just giving you an example. That's even on my YouTube channel, How to Cleanse Railroad Spikes. Um, Putting protection symbols on the doors, doing those things. And if you need help, my information is going to be at the end of the podcast, and I'll definitely help you with that. But creating a barrier, a protection around your home is very important during these times. So the first thing is cleansing. The second thing is protection. Not only your home, but yourself. Like taking those spiritual baths. Like, it's important that you take those spiritual baths 3, 7, and 9 days. So if you're guided to do it 3 days, then good. If you guided to do it 7 days, fine, 9 days. You can do it forever. You can do it every night if you want to. But those protection baths are to protect your energy field when you're going outside in craziness. Okay. Um, so cleansing, protecting yourself and your home is very important. And the one of the things that I have been doing for the last month is grounding myself, because my energy tends to be it's anxiety, right? As we feel as empaths, we feel the energy, but it's not necessarily ours. It's the collective sometimes. And if you don't put those barriers around your energy field, it's going to penetrate, even in your dreams and all kinds of things. So it's important that you ground yourself. And grounding meaning for me, I can go to the water. I'm in the South, right? We have the lake in New Orleans, and then Mississippi, where my mom is, we have the beach. So I always go to the water. I speak to my Orisha Oshun, and I go talk to her. I talk to my ancestors. I do all those things at the water. I ground every single day. If I can't make it to the beach or to the water, to the lake, I ground outside. Being outside in the sun, grounding with the grass, being in nature, all those things are very important right now, because you need to be connected to source, not to the chaos energy that's around. So hopefully this is making sense. I'm gonna keep moseying along, okay? All right. One of the things that I think is very important as you are navigating your spiritual journey is finding a mentor. And I have an ebook um, that I'll leave in a link uh, below wherever you're listening to this podcast. Um, it's about using your discernment when finding a spiritual healer and teacher. I wrote this book because I see a lot of people awakening and they're getting scammed. They're getting scammed from people that are looking to make a quick dollar. They are trying to, scam you. People can have the gifts, but use it in a way that it shouldn't be, right? We all know that. What I have always been is first, do no harm to anyone unless they come for me. And then I got to get you, because I did not come for you. I mind my own business. I hug trees and chase butterflies. So don't come this way. Okay, I don't look as powerful as I am. I don't walk around with crystals around my neck all the time. I don't do that. I'm a fashionista. I like my nails done. I mean, like I wear hats. I don't wear my hair wrapped up. You know, so don't judge people. You don't know what kind of spiritual backing that these people have out here. I digress. So let me get back on subject. Finding the right people. You need to use your discernment. And it shouldn't be by the way they look. It should be by the way they feel. You should be looking into their eyes and using your discernment and being like, hey, this person is legit, this person is not. Okay? There are people on social media that have hundreds of thousands of followers. And I've had a client that I've had to fix the mess that this woman put on this girl. And it was something that was so deep, it shifted her for the rest of her life. And I couldn't fix it. That's how deep it was. So you need to be careful about who you allow in your energy. So that ebook is available, in a link, to make sure that you are using your discernment when picking a mentor, when picking a coach. It is very important that you understand that you're not alone. For me, 10 years ago, I was alone. So my spirit team sent me two spiritual teachers, one of light and one of dark, because you need both, because we are both. We are duality. We have light and we have dark. My first spiritual teacher, Miss Pat, that I mentioned earlier, she was a light bearer. My second teacher, Ephraim, I love him. He's in New Orleans. He's my people, but he's dark. But I needed to see that darkness. He had me um, he pulled me out of a very, 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 very dark and deep place. And you need both. So when you are looking for practitioners and coaches and they're only talk about love and light, you need to question that. You need to question that. It's both. You need both in order to really navigate as above, so below, left, right. It is what it is, right? You can't navigate just light all the time without. My strongest time in life has come when I emerged from the darkness. When you are at your last and you're on the ground and you don't even see your way out of it, and then there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But you had to crawl through that darkness, and those dark times taught you the biggest lessons of your life. And when you get to that light, you're appreciative of the dark. You need both. So I'm grateful for Miss Pat, and I'm grateful for Ephraim E. He comes around every once in a while. We're in the same area, but he's busy. We're all busy. But the last time I talked to him, he told me, he said, you need to sweep up that dirt in the corner over there, April. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. He said, there's dirt in a corner over there that you need to sweep up. And I didn't get it at first. And then I thought about, like, we're all imperfect and we make mistakes. And we have to understand that we learn from those mistakes and we forgive ourselves for those mistakes. It's very important that we forgive. And I needed to sweep that dust off in the corner, forgive myself for what I've done because I've done wrong. Not intentionally, but you know, because we're not perfect. And sweep that dust off, be good to yourself, forgive yourself, and move forward. Because just like Erykah Badu said, Bag Lady, sometimes we carry these things in our subconscious that we try to block it out, but we need to come to terms with it so we can move forward. So that ebook is about that. Um, this first episode is not going to be too long because I didn't want to be long winded. I just want to reintroduce myself to the new people. And I also want to give you some words of encouragement. But before we do that, I want to talk about what services that I offer. First of all, I have one spiritual consultation. That's it. I was doing 30 minutes, but nobody ever does 30 minutes. They'll be like 30 minutes and be like, okay, I need to pay for more because I need more time. So I have 1 hour consultation. The link is in the bio. And I have two coaching programs. I have one coaching program is a rebirth after 40. If you're 40 and up or late 30s and you're trying to shift your life. The rebirth after 40 is an ebook and an 8-week coaching program. I have a second coaching program from stuck to alignment. That's 8 weeks. 8 weeks is 2 months with me. That's open email. You can email me anytime. You can even text me. Because I don't take on a lot of clients. Um, Weekly homework and weekly touch bases that you talk to me for an hour, hour and a half for things that is going on in your life that I can help you with. I do read tarot, but I don't need it. I'm a psychic medium, so I can see things that I know spirit is needing from us, right? Um, let's see. One of the words of encouragement that I feel that we all need, is something that Harriet Tubman said. And I didn't even know she said this quote because I was searching quotes and I saw this quote and it made so much sense to me. It said, if you hear the dogs, keep going. And I had reasoned this out in my head. There was one of two things I had the right to: liberty or death. When you think about when she says that, when you hear the dogs, right? In America, we're going through a lot, right? We have a madman in office, okay? I don't care how you put it. He's, but he's necessary for the breakdown in the blood that the United States have on their hands. So it had to happen the way that is happening right now. But we can't allow the noise and the chaos to stop our liberty. And I want you to take that with you from Harriet Tubman, at those times and how she had to navigate through that. And she also tried to free people that didn't even realize that they needed to be free. And that's where we are right now. If you're listening to this podcast, you have a purpose on your life. Whatever that purpose is, whatever you're being called to do, you also have to realize that there are people waiting for you with your particular gifts so that you can help them along, just like Harriet Tubman helped those ancestors, right? But you can't save everyone. You can only save yourself first. And then Spirit is going to put you in alignment with the right people once you take the jump and the encouragement. So if you don't get anything else from this podcast, understand this. We're living in some crazy ass times, okay? However, it's all in how you look at it. We're going through a death, and there's going to be a rebirth. And on the other side of that rebirth is light, love, unity, humanity. I feel that in my soul. I feel it. I know it's going to happen in this lifetime. And some of us birth kids that are magical like us, right? My son's 14. He's like me. And his gifts are getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And they're the next generation. So don't get discouraged. Just understand that your gifts, your special talents is going to be liberation for the people that need it. So thank you guys. I'm back. My little dude child. Thank you so much for listening to Soul Coach Speaks, the podcast. For those who are called higher, ready to answer. Thank you.